Single versus couple. How to claim your $950 or $1,890 under new 2026 rules. There is a number that a significant portion of Canadian seniors are not claiming, not because they are ineligible, not because the program does not exist, but because no one has explained it to them clearly enough. As of 2026, eligible single seniors in Canada may be entitled to monthly federal support, reaching up to approximately $950. And for couples households where both partners qualify, that combined figure approaches $1,890 per month. These are not new programs invented overnight. These are existing entitlements, CPP, OAS, and the Guaranteed Income Supplement restructured, adjusted, and recalibrated under updated federal rules and annual indexation schedules that took effect this year. And yet, tens of thousands of Canadians are either underclaiming, delaying their applications, or simply unaware that their eligibility has shifted. My name is Joseph, and today we are going to walk through exactly what has changed, who it affects, what the real dollar numbers look like, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to make sure you are not leaving money on the table. Stay with me. This matters. Over the past 24 months, Canada's retirement income system has undergone a series of adjustments that, individually, may seem routine. Annually indexed payment rates, incremental CPP enhancement contributions, updated GIS thresholds, minor amendments buried in federal budget documents that most Canadians never read. But when you look at these changes together, when you map them against the cost of living pressures seniors are facing, the demographic reality of an aging population, and the fiscal signals coming from Ottawa, a clearer picture begins to form. Canada is in the middle of a quiet but consequential recalibration of how it supports its retired population. The CPP Enhancement Program, which began its phased rollout in 2019, is now in its more mature stage. Contributions made over the past several years are beginning to translate into higher eventual payouts for those who are reaching retirement age now or in the near future. That is the upside. At the same time, the federal government has made adjustments to OAS payment levels, GIS income thresholds, and the clawback structures that determine who gets how much and under what conditions benefits are reduced or eliminated. These changes did not make front-page headlines. They were announced in supplementary budget documents, government press releases, and technical updates from Service Canada. But their impact on the monthly income of Canadian retirees is real, measurable, and in many cases, meaningful. This is the environment we are operating in as we enter 2026. Let us be precise about what we are discussing. Canada's retirement income system rests on three primary federal pillars: the Canada Pension Plan, Old Age Security, and the Guaranteed Income Supplement. Together, these form the backbone of retirement income for the majority of Canadian seniors. The Canada Pension Plan, CPP. CPP is a contributory benefit. What you receive in retirement is directly tied to how much you contributed during your working years and for how long. The maximum monthly CPP payment for someone who begins collecting at age 65 in 2026 has increased modestly from prior years, reflecting both the ongoing CPP enhancement and the annual indexation tied to the Consumer Price Index. For 2026, the maximum monthly CPP retirement benefit at age 65 sits at approximately $1,364. However, and this is critical, the average Canadian retiree does not receive the maximum. The actual average monthly CPP payment is considerably lower, closer to $800 to $850 per month, depending on individual contribution histories. This distinction matters because many Canadians assume they will receive the maximum, plan their retirement around that assumption, and then face a shortfall when their actual payment arrives. Old Age Security, OAS. OAS is not contributory. It is funded through general government revenues and is available to most Canadians aged 65 and over who meet the residency requirements. In 2026, the monthly OAS payment for individuals aged 65 to 74 is approximately $713. For those aged 75 and over, a 10% permanent top-up that was introduced in 2022 remains in effect, bringing that figure to approximately $784 per month. OAS is subject to an income-based clawback officially called the OAS recovery tax, which begins when individual net income exceeds roughly $90,997 for the 2025 tax year, with the threshold adjusted slightly for 2026. For every dollar above that threshold, OAS is reduced by 15 cents. Seniors with higher retirement incomes need to be aware of this structure. The Guaranteed Income Supplement, GIS. This is where the most significant opportunity exists for lower-income Canadian seniors, and it is the benefit that is most frequently underclaimed. The GIS is a non-taxable, income-tested benefit available to low-income OAS recipients. It is designed specifically to ensure that Canada's most financially vulnerable seniors have a meaningful income floor. For 2026, a single senior receiving OAS and qualifying for the maximum GIS can receive a GIS payment of approximately $1,057 per month on top of their OAS. For couples where both partners qualify, the GIS per person is lower approximately $636 per month each because the household income assessment accounts for 2 earners. Now let us build out the full picture. For a single, low-income senior in 2026, OAS, approximately $713 GIS, maximum, approximately $1,057 average CPP, approximately $800. Combined monthly income from federal programs alone, approaching and in some cases exceeding $20,500 per month, depending on individual CPP entitlement. But for seniors with little or no CPP, particularly those who spent years outside the paid workforce, worked in non-covered employment, or immigrated to Canada in later life, the OAS and GIS combination alone can reach approximately $1,170 per month at maximum GIS rates. The $950 figure referenced in our title reflects a more conservative, real-world scenario for single seniors who are receiving average CPP, standard OAS, and a partial GIS top-up a profile that matches a very large segment of Canada's actual retiree population. For couples, the $1,890 figure reflects the combined federal benefit income for a qualifying low to modest income couple, accounting for OAS payments for both individuals, combined GIS entitlements, and average CPP contributions from at least one partner. These are not hypothetical numbers. They are grounded in the 2026 federal benefit schedules published by Service Canada and adjusted for current indexation levels. The Canadians most directly affected by these updated rules fall into several distinct groups, and it is worth naming each one specifically. Seniors currently receiving benefits who have not reviewed their GIS eligibility recently. Life circumstances change. If your income decreased because a spouse passed away, because you stopped working, because investment returns shifted, your GIS eligibility may have changed as well. Many seniors qualified initially were reassessed at higher income levels and then never reapplied or re-examined their eligibility when circumstances shifted again. Near retirees approaching age 65. If you are 63 or 64, the decisions you make in the next 12 to 24 months regarding CPP timing, RRSP drawdowns, and income positioning will have a direct impact on your GIS eligibility in retirement. This is one of the most under-discussed areas of retirement planning in Canada. Widowed seniors. The transition from couple to single status triggers a complete reassessment of benefit eligibility. Many widowed Canadians are entitled to higher GIS payments as single individuals, but do not realize their eligibility has changed or do not know how to navigate the reapplication process. Low-income immigrant seniors. Canadians who immigrated in later life may have limited CPP entitlement due to fewer contribution years, but may qualify for OAS after meeting residency thresholds and can be eligible for full or near full GIS. This is a population that advocacy organizations consistently identify as having among the highest rates of benefit underclaiming. Seniors who file taxes late or inconsistently. GIS entitlement is recalculated each year based on the prior year's tax return. Seniors who do not file taxes, perhaps because they believe their income is too low to require filing, may unknowingly interrupt or lose their GIS payments. Filing your return, even with no taxes owing, is not optional if you want to maintain GIS eligibility. It is a requirement. Let us talk about what underclaiming actually costs. A senior who is entitled to the maximum GIS but is not receiving it is leaving over $12,000 per year on the table. That is not a rounding error. That is a meaningful portion of annual income for someone living on a fixed retirement income. For a couple where both partners are eligible for GIS, but only one has applied, or where the income assessment has not been updated to reflect a change in circumstances, the annual gap can exceed $7,000 to $8,000 per year in combined lost entitlements. Over 5 years, we are talking about $35,000 to $60,000 in federal support that eligible Canadians simply did not receive. These numbers illuminate why financial advisors, poverty reduction advocates, and provincial seniors agencies have been increasingly vocal about the GIS awareness gap. It is not a trivial policy issue. For Canadians living on modest fixed incomes, it is the difference between financial stability and financial strain. There is also the issue of CPP timing specifically, the decision to begin collecting CPP at 60, 65, or delay to 70. Every year you delay CPP beyond 65 increases your monthly payment by 8.4%. Delaying from 65 to 70 results in a 42% higher monthly benefit for life. For seniors in good health with reasonable life expectancy, this can represent tens of thousands of dollars in additional lifetime income. But the reverse is also true. Beginning CPP early at age 60 reduces your monthly benefit by 36%, compared to waiting until 65. Many Canadians make this decision quickly, under financial pressure, without fully modeling the long-term cost. Why is the federal government making these adjustments now? And what does the broader policy direction suggest about where things are heading? The honest answer involves several intersecting pressures. Canada's population is aging at a pace that was clearly understood by policymakers, but is now arriving as fiscal reality. By 2030, an estimated 1 in 4 Canadians will be over the age of 65. The pressure this places on OAS and GIS program spending is substantial and growing. At the same time, the CPP enhancement, the multi-year contribution increase that workers and employers have been paying into since 2019, was designed precisely to reduce future reliance on GIS by ensuring that tomorrow's retirees have higher CPP income. The theory is that stronger CPP entitlements today reduce the need for GIS top-ups tomorrow. Annual indexation of OAS and GIS to the Consumer Price Index is a policy commitment that protects the real value of these benefits against inflation. That indexation is why the 2026 figures are higher than 2025 figures, even without legislative change. The government's broader direction appears to be one of maintaining the existing framework, while gradually tightening the conditions and thresholds that determine eligibility for income-tested benefits. The OAS clawback threshold, for example, has not kept pace with housing wealth increases that affect the financial profile of some retirees. These are the kinds of structural tensions that analysts are watching carefully. Pension policy researchers and senior advocacy organizations have been consistently raising one issue above all others: the gap between who is eligible for benefits and who is actually receiving them. The Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions, parliamentary budget analysts, and organizations like CARP, the Canadian Association of Retired Persons, have all noted in recent years that GIS take-up rates, while improving, remain below where they should be. Eligible seniors are not claiming benefits they have earned the right to receive. Part of this is a systemic issue. The application process, while not impossibly complex, creates friction. Seniors who are not digitally connected, who have language barriers, or who simply do not know the benefit exists, are at a significant disadvantage. Provincial governments have tried to address this through outreach programs with varying levels of success. Service Canada has moved toward more proactive notification for OAS. In some cases, seniors are now automatically enrolled, but GIS still requires active engagement and annual tax filing to maintain. Financial advisors working with pre-retirees increasingly emphasize income positioning as one of the most high-value planning activities available. Structuring retirement income to minimize the OAS clawback and maximize GIS eligibility in the early retirement years can produce material improvements in lifetime income. This is the section that matters most for the people watching this video. What are the concrete steps you can take today? Step 1. Confirm your current benefit amounts. Log into your My Service Canada account and verify exactly what you are receiving under CPP, OAS, and GIS. If you have not used this tool, it is available at canada.ca and allows you to see your payment history, your contribution record, and your current entitlements in one place. Step 2. File your tax return every year without exception. This is the single most important action low-income seniors can take to protect their GIS eligibility. Service Canada uses your prior year tax return to calculate your GIS payment. No return means no GIS. File by April 30th each year, even if you owe nothing and expect no refund. Step 3. Report major income changes immediately. If your income dropped significantly due to retirement, the death of a spouse, or loss of employment income, you do not have to wait until the following tax year to see that reflected in your GIS. You can request a current year income assessment from Service Canada, which can result in higher GIS payments much sooner. Step 4. Review CPP timing carefully. If you have not yet begun collecting CPP and you are between 60 and 70, model the different scenarios before making a decision. The break-even analysis for CPP deferral depends on your health, your other income sources, and your GIS eligibility, because higher CPP income can actually reduce your GIS entitlement. This is a planning nuance that many Canadians miss entirely. Step 5. If you are supporting an elderly parent or relative, check on their benefit status. Adult children often discover that a parent has been entitled to GIS for years but never applied, or that a change in circumstances never triggered a benefit reassessment. This is a practical and meaningful contribution you can make to a family member's financial security. Step 6. Consult a certified financial planner with experience in retirement income. Not every financial advisor is deeply familiar with the interaction between CPP, OAS, GIS, RRSP drawdowns, and the tax implications of each. Finding someone with this specific expertise is worth the investment, particularly in the years immediately before and after retirement. Looking ahead, the architecture of Canada's retirement income system is not going to fundamentally change in the short term. CPP, OAS, and GIS will remain the three federal pillars, but the parameters within that system, thresholds, clawback rates, indexation formulas, eligibility criteria will continue to evolve. Several developments are worth monitoring closely. The second phase of CPP enhancement, which has been adding a second higher earning ceiling to CPP contributions, will begin producing tangible payout effects for workers now in mid-career. This means the retirement income landscape in 2035 and 2040 will look meaningfully different from today, with higher average CPP entitlements and theoretically lower GIS dependency. Inflation remains a variable. The current indexation formula for OAS and GIS is designed to protect benefit value, but if inflation remains elevated, the adequacy of indexed benefits will continue to be debated. Advocacy organizations are already calling for indexation methodologies that more accurately reflect the cost pressures seniors actually face, particularly in housing and healthcare. The federal government's fiscal position will also play a role. A government facing significant deficit pressures may look at benefit eligibility rules as a lever. This does not mean cuts are imminent, but it does mean that Canadians who rely on these programs have a genuine interest in staying informed about budget directions and policy signals. Finally, the digital divide among Canada's senior population will continue to be a structural challenge. Programs like GIS that depend on timely tax filing and online account management create real barriers for seniors who are not digitally fluent. Closing that gap through outreach, simplified processes, and community support is a policy priority that has been discussed but not fully resolved. Here is what I want you to take away from this analysis. The Canadian retirement income system, for all of its complexity, contains real and meaningful support for seniors and retirees support that many eligible Canadians are simply not accessing. The $950 for single seniors and the $1,890 for qualifying couples are not numbers invented for a headline. They represent the real-world outcome of a system that is functioning as intended for Canadians who know how to navigate it. The problem is not the programs. The problem is the gap between entitlement and awareness, and that is a gap that can be closed with information, with proactive engagement, and with a willingness to ask the right questions of the right institutions. If you are approaching retirement, if you are already retired, or if you are supporting someone who is, this information is directly relevant to your financial security. The time to understand these rules is before you need them, not after a payment arrives that is less than you expected. I encourage you to share this video with someone in your life who needs to hear it. A parent, a neighbor, a friend who has been putting off reviewing their pension situation. And if this channel has brought you information that you found useful, I would ask that you consider subscribing. We cover Canadian pension policy, retirement income rules, and government benefit changes in depth with the seriousness and precision that these topics deserve. If you have questions about your specific situation, or if there are aspects of this topic you would like us to explore in greater detail, leave a comment below. We read them, and your questions help shape the direction of future content. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, and take care of your financial future because no one will do it for you.